Bears just could not complete the task this time, falling to the Niners 42-38. Brock Purdy accounted for 5 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey added a TD as well, 140 yards on the ground for him as the Niners now have a shot at the 1 seed. So the Seahawks and the Niners will battle for the NFC's 1 seed and the NFC West title in Week 18. ESPN Analytics gives the Niners a slight edge, 51% chance to get the top seed in the conference. This is just the 3rd matchup in the final week since 1990 when the winner secured the 1 seed in a conference. So is San Francisco a real threat to win the NFC based on what you've seen really the last month and a half?
They would have to get a turnover a game, and then the answer is yes. The offense is Super Bowl caliber. I mean, since Brock Purdy has come back, they're 35 points per game since the 6 games he's come back. It's the best 3rd down offense in the NFL, 50+% conversion on 3rd down. So offense-wise, I think it's the hottest offense along with the Rams going into the NFC playoffs. If you can avoid Seattle and really Philadelphia, those are the 2 elite defenses. So offense, yes. It's a defense that can get you beat by anybody. And I think that's the dichotomy for San Francisco. It's the worst pass rush in football. They have the least amount of sacks in football. They've given a 500 or 400-plus yards in 5 out of the last 9 games. So are they a real threat? Like offensively, no question. How can they steal an extra possession or 2? Because the defense is not going to get stops. Can they find a way to punch the ball out? Can they find a way to get off the field on 3rd down somehow, some way? That's the concern. Their defense, it could get them knocked out in the 1st round. That's just where this defense is. But their offense can go score with anybody against anybody. And that's why this team right now, it's crazy to think that they could be the 1 seed because the defense is so bad, but they got to ride their offensive wave.
Yeah.
Danielle, you said it. The defense can get you knocked out in the 1st round. You're talking about a defense that cannot get after the quarterback. When you start to look at who they're going to have to go up against potentially, when you think about Seattle, can they get after the quarterback? Hell yeah. When you think about the Los Angeles Rams, they have their deficiencies defensively, but they can still hold you at bay. When you think about the Philadelphia Eagles, can they get after the quarterback? It's another, hell yeah. When you start to really pan out who's going against who, what's going against what, these teams have something in common. A dynamic defense that is capable of making an offensive day extremely uncomfortable and frustration. So, therefore, do I think that the 49ers are a threat to win the NFC? No, because of the inability to get after the quarterback. Is Brock Purdy playing at a high level? Yes. But is that enough for the sustainability and the long push going into the NFC Championship and potentially further? That's going to be the hindrance. And ever since Nick Bosa has went out, they've been trying to find different ways to get after the quarterback with different pressures, with different type of, strategies, and it just hasn't showed up. So that's the knock, when you're looking at and analyzing the 49ers.
I'm with you, Cam. They are, though. They are. Because here's the thing. What defense do you really think can slow down this offense in San Francisco? I'll give you 2 that I feel really confident in. It's Philadelphia, and it's Seattle. And they should avoid playing those teams. Obviously, they're playing on Saturday night for the division. If they win that, they should avoid playing those teams until the championship game, potentially. And so, this offense can score with anybody. They're going to score no matter. If they don't have to play Philly early on, I think it's a guarantee they wouldn't have to play Philly early on. If they can avoid having to play Philly or Seattle, there's not a good enough defense to slow down this offense. I was with you. I was up until a couple weeks ago. I'm like, man, this defense. But this offense is a juggernaut right now. They scored 35 or they scored 42 last night without George Kittle, without Trent Williams. I mean, if they get fully whole and healthy with those 2 players back for the playoffs, I think this defense can score push 40 on just about anybody.
Which is why the 1 seed would matter, because they would have a week to get a little bit healthier. It would be huge. Now, I will say this. The Niners are 6-0 since Purdy returned from injury. Who have they beat in those 6 weeks? The Cardinals, the Panthers, who are maybe a playoff team, I understand. The Browns, the Titans, the Colts. They haven't played the likes of Seattle and the Rams since Purdy has been fully healthy. Let's go to the team that lost yesterday. Pains me to say that, but it's true. Caleb Williams and the Bears. Heck of a fight they put up. They went toe-to-toe with the Niners up until literally the very last play. I needed extra coffee this morning. What is the ceiling, though, for this Bears team?
I feel about the Bears the same way I feel about San Francisco. championship caliber offense.
They need a takeaway to win.
A defense that can get you beat by anybody in the first round. Now, here's what I would say differently. 8 weeks ago, I said championship caliber run game. The run game was so good. Caleb in this last month has been really good. I think he's got 8 touchdowns in December, 8 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He's been really good in specific moments. 250 yards per game, passing 7.5 yards per attempt. So you're seeing Caleb's performance kind of match that run game. I think because of that, the ability to run the football and create those explosive plays down the field, Loveland, Luther Burden III, their emergence, this offense can go score. The concern is the defense is so predicated on those takeaways. They can't get a stop, and so now they've been getting them. They've been getting the takeaways. But you watch last night, you can get 35, 40 hung on you against this defense by just about anybody in the playoffs. And so the ceiling for me is probably a playoff win, just because I think in the playoffs, at some point, an offense is going to buckle down. An offense is going to be psychotic about valuing the football and not giving away and not turning the football over. If you don't do that, you can have this defense.
Yeah.
I think if the Chicago Bears can find a way to get a postseason win, we already know that they're playing ahead of schedule. They're really playing with house money. Nobody expected Caleb Williams to kind of get thrusted. As a matter of fact, we knew he was talented. I'll say nobody expected Ben Johnson's impact to be this early. And if you go into a playoff where you say, hey, if we can find a way to garner this, this moment and feed off this, it's kind of giving the same situation that we thought last year with the Washington Commanders. The only difference is they're more sound and more of a complete offense. Last year, and even this year, the Commanders struggled with protecting the quarterback. That's not the case for Chicago. If I'm going into the draft, I'm bolstering up the defensive side of the ball to give my offense more opportunities. Well, for the Chicago Bears, you have a offensive guru in Ben Johnson with the skill set of Caleb Williams. You're in a good place, and you're in a good place to be successful, multiple times, or as we kind of see this dynasty kind of get created.
This is weird for me to watch. In Chicago, especially when I was covering the Bears, it was always the opposite. The defense was always ahead of the offense, always, forever. And now to see it flipped, you even heard guys in the locker room after the game last night saying, we let the offense down, like the defense did. So it's a different football DNA in Chicago right now. So it's hard for me to watch. The defense concerns me. I mean, a week ago against Green Bay, 0 for 5 in the red zone were the Packers. This week, last night, the Niners were perfect in the red zone. Yeah. They had a gazillion first downs. They couldn't stop anything.
Unless you get the pick 6, the game's not as close as it is at the end.
So it's a problematic situation and one I'm not familiar with as a Bears fan. However, given the way this season has gone, they went toe-to-toe with potentially the 1 seed in the NFL. I mean, who's not to say that they couldn't win 3 playoff games? I feel like this year has been so weird in the NFL. They can go toe-to-toe offensively with anyone. If they can turn the ball over, then that'll be the question.